No solutions, the results of a meeting with city leaders and homeless advocates. Plus, a new air quality report prompts health concerns, the response from campfire survivors. Plus, emergency response upgrade, a live update on today's traffic signal synchronization test in Chico.
Covering Northern California, you're watching Action News Now. Coverage you can count on.
Breaking news, a meeting between the city of Chico and the plaintiffs in the homeless shelter lawsuit has ended. Action News Now reporter Esteban Reynoso is live at City Hall. So Esteban, what was the outcome of the meeting?
The legal services of Northern California, who represent the plaintiffs in this lawsuit against the city of Chico, they told me that the meeting was brief and it was very short and that not much came of it because this is a meeting to set up future meetings. Now, one of the solutions the city is hoping both parties can agree to is the sanctioned campground at the airport. But I spoke with people around here in downtown who say they want to see more.
The only thing I can think of is maybe a larger campground, a larger version of what's over in Comanche Creek, where there are facilities, water and bathrooms and maybe showers or something.
It's the wrong one. According to council members, there was supposed to be a decision on the campground today. And as to whether the campground is considered a solution, we are still trying to find out what the decision was on that. Live in Chico, Esteban Reynoso, Action News Now, coverage you can count on.
Well, the sanctioned campground opened at the Chico Airport June 23rd. It can shelter nearly 600 people. Well, let's get the latest now on our weather conditions. Chief Meteorologist Jason Stiff is tracking the heat, which is subsiding a little bit, and my goodness, take a look at right there at Lake Oroville, how far that water continues to drop. Jason, it's disturbing to see.
Yeah, down to 29% right now. Lake Oroville is. It's only about 37% of where it should be on this date, July 13th. It's not going to get any better. It's going to get a lot worse. But one thing that is getting better is all the intense heat that we've had. Certainly not as hot as it has been for the last several days, and not nearly as hot as it was Saturday or Sunday. Redding currently 102 degrees. Weaverville is hotter at 103. It's 100 degrees in Red Bluff, 95 degrees in Chico, and still widespread 90s. Even Paradise 93 degrees. It's all 90s and triple digits, but it is going the right way. We've had some breezy weather today. We've had gusts up to 25 miles an hour in Red Bluff, but now sustained at 16. 15 mile an hour breezes in Chico and 17 in Redding. The humidity, not ideal, but it's a little bit higher than yesterday, 8% in Redding, but you can see the further south you go, closer to that where that delta breeze is coming from, we have more humidities between 20 and 25%. So that's really good news for us. And as far as the fire danger is concerned, it is not going to be as hot tomorrow. Temperatures in the upper 80s and lower 90s around the foothills, near 100 degrees for the valley, wind 10 to 15 miles an hour, humidity 10 to 20%. So we're going to keep that fire danger between moderate and high. But I'll tell you which direction the temperatures are going and if we have any chance for wet weather coming up in my complete storm tracker weather forecast.
The Tehama County Board of Supervisors has come up with a solution to help those with dry wells this summer. The county will offer water for residential use for cooking and showering. Now, that water comes from a well that the county owns in Mill Creek Park. You do have to get the water yourself, but as long as it's less than 500 gallons, it is free. After that, it's $1 per 100 gallons. The county hopes to implement this by the end of the month. Toxic smoke concern. New data released by the California Air Resources Board shows the smoke from buildings and cars that burned in the campfire posed significant health risks. Action News Now reporter Tori Apodaca spoke with people exposed to that smoke.
People I talk to who live on the Ridge and down in Chico tell me that they are not too surprised by the findings, as they can remember just how hard it was to breathe during the campfire. Vernon James can remember the suffocating smoke smothering Chico during the campfire, forcing him to stay inside.
Because I do have asthma and allergies. You can hear it in my voice when it comes out. Really.
To this day, he stays on top of the air quality index, and when it is too high,
that's when it really affects me. I can't go outside when that happens.
Campfire survivor Madison Acosta remembers the lingering headaches breathing all that smoke gave her.
The smoke was really, really thick. It made the morning look like nighttime, and there was giant pieces of ash, bigger than quarter size probably, falling constantly.
It still remains unclear what long-term effects this poor air quality will ultimately have on people. Reporting in Paradise, Tori Apodaca, Action News Now, coverage you can count on.
That newly released study finds that the most prominent toxins released into the smoke, into the air in Chico and in Butte County were lead and zinc. You can find the study under news links at actionnewsnow.com. Well, let's get more information now on air quality. Scott Rates joins us now with a look at that. Scott?
So I want to show you this website here really quick, Alan. This is airnow.gov. You can access it through that link right there. But you can see right now where the bulk of it is right here. So here's Chico right here in the clearing right now. Redding, all of this area in yellow. Very mild smoke issues out there, but then up here where you get these fires that are burning right along up here, you see that the air quality becomes a lot worse. That's because the wind is right now kind of pushing from south to north. So obviously that smoke, the worst of the smoke when you get the fires right up here, going to be right up here. So this is a good website to really track that air quality and monitor it as we go through fire season here. It's going to be very important to watch that air quality where you live. Again, this is airnow.gov, and you can just type in where you live right here and get that air quality report, Alan.
Thank you, Scott. Well, there is significant progress to report on the sugar fire, part of the Beckworth complex. Containment has now grown from 8% 24 hours ago to 46%. The size has grown to nearly 93,000 acres. There are still mandatory and voluntary evacuations in place. We have a list under Fire Watch at actionnewsnow.com. Now, better mapping on that other fire burning in the complex. The Dada fire has reduced its size to 594 acres from the original estimate of 670. Caught on camera, fire crews in Doyle quickly took cover. This is working the sugar fire when a firenado formed and came bearing down toward them. Now you can see the thick smoke and dirt blowing through the air, but in the end there were no reports of any injuries. The devastation left behind from the Beckworth complex stretches as far as the eye can see. Terry Sweeney managed to save his home, but only because the fast-moving flames prevented him from evacuating. Firefighters helped build a fire line, and then he just sat in his car and waited to see if it would hold.
The fire was moving so fast and so hot, it was exploding spot fires ahead of it, way ahead of it, like a gunshot. It was one of those things that, you know, you're kind of like, well, I love you, goodbye, this could be it. You know, I hope not, but.
The damage estimate is just beginning, so that we don't actually have a firm information yet on the number of homes and businesses burned in the sugar fire. In Oregon, the bootleg fire continues to burn near the town of Sprague River. Now, that fire has burned nearly 202,000 acres. Oregon state fire officials say the hot weather, dry fuels, and low humidity combined to drive more active fire behavior. Smoke from this fire is very visible from Oregon State Highway 140, and of course evacuations are in place. It's the largest fire in the country right now. Chico State is taking steps to help vaccinate the community. Around 100 students and community members got their coronavirus shots at the Chico State Bell Memorial Union. The university says it will continue hosting these clinics every 3 weeks to give people more access to the shot.
There's concerns over the rising concern of the Delta variant. And as we know that people that are vaccinated show greater resilience against that Delta variant. And so we're just going to keep hosting these clinics every 3 weeks until people stop coming.
The university will host another vaccine clinic August 3rd, then a couple more by the end of August when school starts. Doctors are urging unvaccinated Americans to get the shot to protect against the fast-spreading Delta variant. The largest increase is happening in some southern and western states. CDC Deputy Director Jay Butler says more than 99% of all new cases are people who are completely unvaccinated.
It is spreading more efficiently, that it is spreading in pockets that are unvaccinated, and it's causing a lot of disease and a lot of stress.
Health experts say all evidence shows the COVID vaccine is safe and effective, even against the Delta variant. The city of Chico is testing synchronization of its traffic signals along the Esplanade with the purpose of making it easier for emergency vehicles to help save lives. Danny Maston has been following today's test and joins us now live with the very latest. How did it go, Danny?
Alan, the city is testing its new preemption system located right here on the Esplanade and Memorial Way. Yesterday, we explained how it opens up roads to first responders when they get an emergency call, and today the city gets to see how it works.
Red light, green light, yellow light. Dozens of traffic lights up and down the Esplanade in Chico. It's one of the busiest streets in the city, and when there's an emergency, traffic could slow life-saving help from getting there in time. That's why the city's putting in this new traffic light control system.
I've seen some gnarly accidents on Esplanade, so it's good that they're implementing it on a busy street.
It's a computer-aided dispatch system, or CAD. They set up software inside police or fire vehicles that communicates with software and traffic signals.
It gives a signal to the controller, the computer that manages the signal, that hey, a fire truck is approaching, so I need a green light.
For us, this is a big deal because it's going to increase not only the officer safety perspective when we're operating in Code 3 emergency operations, but also from the community standpoint in terms of they're going to get red lights in areas that we're going to be coming through at maybe a little bit quicker speed.
The city tells me it received a grant of $350,000 and used another $50,000 in city safety funds to implement this traffic system.
I think if it's all done through grants and non-tax dollars, I think that's a great idea.
If Tuesday's test goes well, the city plans to implement the system in other areas of Chico in the future.
The city will do one more day of testing tomorrow and hopes to go live with its preemption system sometime next week. Live in Chico, Danny Maston, Action News Now coverage you can count on.
Thanks, Danny. And while the system goes into effect at the intersection of Esplanade and Memorial Way, it will also affect people driving on odd number streets. So, for example, the system will be implemented at lights on 3rd, 5th, and 7th Streets.